Hello, my dear friends. Our topic for presentation today is day case surgery. So, what is day case surgery? The definition is a patient or a case that comes into the hospital for a surgical procedure and it is dealt with and released in the course of one day. So, the patient comes come to the hospital for a procedure. Everything is done in one day, and the patient is discharged on that day itself, on the day itself, particularly in that 12-hour period. So that is day case surgery. So, but what exactly it is? Say, suppose we have to carry our cat to some place. We use our bike. Suppose our pet is an elephant and we have to carry it to some other place. We have to use a truck. So exactly like this happens in surgery. There are carriers for different surgery. There are different surgical systems which we use as carriers. Suppose it is a small surgery like an incision and drainage or a sebaceous cyst excision. A small surgical carrier can be used. A small surgical procedural steps can be used. Suppose it is a larger surgery like a thyroidectomy or like a carcinoma of stomach. A more elaborate procedure has to be used. Let us see the surgical systems which are generally seen in our surgery department. So, say it is an abscess. What is the surgical vehicle we have to put the patient through? See that the procedure is suitable for surgery. See that it is a small abscess in the correct area. The surgeon assesses the patient and make sure that the patient is preoperatively fit, no anticoagulants or any other drugs of that sort. And surgery is done under local anesthesia, incision and drainage, and the patient is discharged with postoperative instructions and adequate analgesia. So that is a small bike which we use. We have a bit more larger vehicles like this. For example, for a fibroadenoma excision. So we see the patient in the OPD and we decide the procedure is suitable for the surgery, and we assess the patient then and there itself and make sure that the patient is fit by the surgeon itself and give a date for the patient. Then the patient comes to the theater on that date, do the surgery under local anesthesia, and we discharge with the patient with the post-op instructions. So these are the smaller vehicles which we use to transport these smaller surgeries in case of in our department, in our surgery department. Now, what about the larger vehicles? Let us see. Suppose this is a thyroidectomy patient, a multinodal goiter for thyroidectomy. We see the patient in the OPD. We give the investigations for diagnosis. We diagnose the patient and a decision for surgery and what type of surgery. Say total thyroidectomy in this case is made. And we ask the patient to come 1 week before the surgery for preoperative investigations. We do the investigations and make sure everything is right. The patient comes on the date of admission after 1 week, and we do a pre-anesthetic checkups after admission. When showing the PSC, they say that the patient is fit. Then we go for the surgery. Then we'll keep the patient post-operatively for 2 or 3 days. Then we'll discharge the patient and we'll follow up the patient. So what about the time period in all these days? We take 1 week there, we take around 2 weeks there, we take 1 week there, and for the surgery after admission till the discharge we take around 1 week there, and after follow up we take 1 week. So this system, this procedural system, this vehicle to travel this big surgery for thyroid will take around 5 to 6 weeks. And the surgical procedure and the pre-anesthetic checkup, the admission to discharge will itself take around 1 week. So, what is day case surgery? What does day case surgery do? Suppose it is an in-between case like this, a hernia, not a cat or a dog, not an elephant, but a cow, somewhere a case which is in between, that is like a hernia. If we put the patient into a smaller vehicle like this, which we did for a fibroadenoma, what happens is it is a high risk procedure. Suppose there is much more risk. Suppose we put the patient into a larger procedure like this, larger setup like this. What happens? It will be taking the cow in a truck like this. So it is not very cost effective. On one side it is risky and on the another side it is cost effective. But these are the vehicles which are available in our department. So what will we do? So in order to save time and decrease the risk, what we have to do? We have to modify our vehicle. So this vehicle can easily carry the cow without much risk or without much expense. But the thing is that we have to design a system like this. And this designing of the system is called day case surgery. So it is a patient pathway by which a particular type of surgery can be taken through in a particular pathway. So what pathway or what is the design of that vehicle? The design of the vehicle is like this. The patient is make sure that the procedure is suitable for day surgery. It is not an elephant but just a cow or less. Preoperatively assess the patient. Make sure that the patient is fit for surgery. See that here the anesthesia comes early. Then give date and preoperative information and preoperative instructions are given. All this happens in one day. Okay. Now then in the next day, now the patient comes for admission on that date, on the set date. Do a routine preoperative checks by the anesthesia, do day case surgery, then discharge the patient with analgesia and postoperative instructions on that same day itself and follow up by telephone follow up. So all these things happen in a period of one day. So this much happen in one day, but the surgery and the discharge and the postoperative instructions, all this happens in one day. So that is the advantage of day case surgery. So this system has to be designed and implemented in our department or in our hospital. So that method or that process is called day case surgery. Now a word about the history of day case surgery. Why should we do all these things, or how did it came into existence? It was initially designed by Glaswegian surgeon James Nicol. He designed it because his hospital has less amount of space, and to maximize his financial gains, he did a large number of patients. He admitted the patient, did the surgery, discharged on the same day itself. His patients were more of a pediatric age group, and the Glaswegian surgeon James Nicol, who did first brought about the concept of day case surgery. But initially it was not very well received. But later, the first hospital-based day surgery units were started in USA in 1951 and in UK in 1969. By 1980s, the average day case rate was less than 15%. That is, the total number of elective surgeries which were done under the day case system was less than 15%. But the medical bills is going on rising. More and more insurance companies are coming. So the patient has to, then more and more patients are coming. So the patient has to be less time in the hospital. So around 1992, the day case target for elective surgery was 50% in UK. And in 2000, around 75% of the all elective surgeries are performed as day cases in UK. So that is the growth of the day case surgery over the period. Now in many of the countries, first day case surgery is a no. Initially you have to consider to do the procedure by day case surgery. If it is not possible, then go for the elective heavy vehicle surgery. Now what are the models of the care? What are the different settings which we can give day case surgery? One is an office based care. Then next one is a standalone day surgery facilities, in which in office based care we can do only generally local cases. In standalone day surgery facilities we can do a bit more of bigger cases. And in self-contained integrated day surgery facilities, it is associated with a hospital which can manage emergency care. The RED is a hospital which can manage emergency care. And the integrated day and short stay surgeries, the day case facility is inside the hospital itself. So these are the different models of care. Now coming to the office based care. Here we can see that generally in a hospital there will be anesthesia care, ward admissions, emergency care and full-fledged OT. An office-based care is classically like a dental OPDVC. The procedures will be generally done under local anesthesia. So generally this vehicles runs in the office-based care. where we plan a procedure, give date, and do the procedure and discharge on the same day itself. It is a mode of day case surgery. So they are done under local anesthesia in office-based care. In case of a standalone day surgery facilities, what is the importance? We have the anesthetist in play. There is no beds for admissions. There is no full-fledged OT. There is no emergency care. But anesthetist is available and a minor OT is available, so that we can do procedures which are under local anesthesia, and we can do procedures which can be done under minor spinal or a block, and we can stretch our anesthesia technique or a short GA. All this we can do in a standalone day surgery facilities, where we can evaluate the patient on one day, admit and discharge on another day. Not only local cases, but a bit of block cases and a short GA cases can be done in the standalone day surgery facilities. In case of self-contained integrated day surgery facilities, what is the advantage of it? They have both ward admissions. If something goes wrong in anesthesia, or if the procedure has some complication, or the anesthesia complication or surgical complication, there is a chance for the anesthesia or the surgeon to admit the patient, and the OT is a bit of a full-fledged OT. So since there is a chance for admission, the anesthesia can take a bit more risk. The surgeon can take a bit more risk, and since the OT is full-fledged, they can do a bit more bigger cases. Even in this cycle itself, they can do a bit more bigger cases, say thyroglosal cyst or a complicated hernias. All these they can do in a self-contained integrated day surgery facilities. But what is the disadvantage? The self-contained integrated day surgery facilities is associated with a hospital, but it is separate from the hospital. So in this hospital, there will be an OT for emergency cases and other elective cases. In day surgery facilities, they will have another OT for emergency and other elective cases. In this OT, there will be one anesthetist, and in this day surgery OT, there will have another anesthetist. So you see, everything has to be done in duplication. So the expense will also get doubled. So self-contained integrated day surgery facilities are generally expensive. Now next comes integrated day and short stay surgeries. What is the advantage of this? The day surgery facility is inside the hospital. So what happens? There is only one anesthetist required. He can go here and go here also. Only one OT is required. He can go here and go here also. There is ward admissions. There is full-fledged OT. Procedures can be done under local anesthesia, and there is help of the anesthetist. But what is the problem? One it is an advantage. Emergency care is there. So if there is any post-operative problems or a post-operative complication, the patient can come. But there is another problem. Suppose there is a lot of emergency cases coming, or there is a mass casualty coming, or there is a lot of infectious disease coming. Something like that happen, the emergency care will become big, and it will take up all the beds of day case surgery and all the staff of day case surgery. So these are the different day surgery facilities which can be given, which can be offered in different settings. One is the office-based care. Next is the standalone day surgery facilities, a self-contained integrated day surgery facilities, and integrated day and short stay surgery facilities. Now coming to our vehicle of day surgery, what are the different steps in which the day surgery is happening? So first we have to see whether the procedure is suitable for day surgery. That is the selection criteria. The selection criteria has to be one, it can be medical, social and surgical. First, the medical criteria. The medical criteria include age, comorbidities, diabetes, epilepsy, obesity, anticoagulants. Generally, extremes of age or more comorbidities, anticoagulant use, all these are considered as these cases will get complicated. So it is better not to do for day surgery. Let us do it electively. Like that the surgeon thinks. But should all cases of diabetes, should we send it to elective surgery or a heavy procedure? Should we cancel that? Should we not offer them day surgery or not? So age, coming to age first. So a patient with age like this, who is very fit, can be a candidate for day surgery. But the same age patient who is like this, which who is debilitated, is not a candidate for day-case surgery. So age more than a number, the physiological age matters. Coming to comorbidity. When we say about comorbidity, we think about the ASA grading, American Society of Anesthesiologists grading. So ASA 1 is normal healthy patient, no smoking or no or very minimal drinking. ASA 2 is a patient with a mild systemic disease, that is a well-controlled diabetes or a well-controlled hypertension, etc. ASA 3 is a patient with a severe systemic disease, not incapacitating, that is a patient with a cardiac stent or a COPD or a patient undergoing dialysis. All these are ASA 3 patients. So ASA 4 is a severe systemic disease which is a constant threat to life, not a candidate for day-case surgery. ASA 5, a moribund patient who is not expected to survive without operation. He is also not a candidate of a day-case surgery. ASA 1, ASA 2 and ASA 3 can be considered for day-case surgery. In which setting will we do? ASA 1 and ASA 2 can be done in a standalone day-case surgery facility where there is an anesthetist, or ASA 1 can be done in an office-based procedure also. But ASA 3, we should have an emergency setting also. It should be either integrated inside the hospital or it should be attached with the hospital. Only in those cases, ASA 3 patients should be accepted for day-case surgeries. Now coming to diabetes. Do we have to, should we offer day-case surgery to diabetes or not? We can offer them in well-controlled state, HbA1c below 8.5%, where there is a local diabetic team. That is, we are discharging the patient. Somebody should control the diabetes after the patient has gone home. So if the local if there is a local diabetic team to control the diabetes of the patient, we have to skip the morning dose of hypoglycemic drugs before the surgery, and the patient has to bring medications along with this. So these are the considerations which we have to see when we do surgery for a well-controlled diabetes patient. Next is epilepsy. A well-controlled epilepsy is not a contraindication for day-case surgery. Now comes obesity. What is the problem with obesity? There can be sleep apnea, there is lung volume reduction and basilar lactasis, there is subcutaneous fat, difficulty in surgery, there is increased visceral fat, again there can be difficulties in surgery. Generally, body mass index up to 40 for surface procedures and 38 for laparoscopic procedures is acceptable for day-case surgery. Now coming to anticoagulants. If there is anticoagulants, assess the cardiology consult and make sure that it is a mild cardiac risk before doing day-case surgery. Now coming to other criteria, not only medical criteria, there are social criteria is also important. One is there should be a responsible adult to take care of the patient when the patient is discharged home. Now the 1 hour the journey to the hospital should be less than 1 hour journey, and it should be a comfortable journey. If the journey is not comfortable with a lot of potholes and difficulties and traffic, then the patient is not a candidate for day-case surgery. So less than 1 hour comfortable journey from the hospital to the home. Third is the patient should have emergency, can contact hospital in emergency. The patient should not be living in a jungle-like area where there is no range. So that is regarding the social indications in case of selection criteria. Now coming to the surgical indications. Can all surgery be done as day-case surgery? No. Generally, the surgery should only take less than 2 hours. Only those surgeries are considered. Now, analgesia. There should be adequate, and there should be a provision to give adequate analgesia for the patient post-operatively and at home. And then the minimal access surgery is more preferred. So whenever we do our day-case surgery, if it is possible by minimal access surgery, it is preferred. So these are the selection criteria. Now coming to the next one, preoperative assessment and assessing whether the patient is fit for surgery. That means here the anesthesia is involved earlier itself. In the classical elective surgery which we have discussed earlier while carrying the elephant, the anesthesia comes after the hospital admission. Here the anesthetist is involved earlier itself. That means there should be an OP consultation point for anesthesia. So the anesthetists see the patient early, they preoperatively assess the patient and make sure that the patient is fit. If they have to send some investigations, they send the investigations and make sure that the patient is fit for surgery. So in day case surgery, anesthetist is involved early in the patient pathway, and if the anesthetist is very busy, a specialist nursing team with anesthetic support should do this preoperative assessment. Now coming next one is the give date, operative information and preoperative instructions. So when we give date for day case surgery, what are the things which we should be careful? That is, how will we schedule the patient? We should not mix apple with oranges. Don't mix the larger procedure like carcinoma stomach and thyroidectomy, and with that along with the smaller procedures like hernia and fibroadenoma and sebaceous cyst. So take the smaller procedures and group it together. Don't bring larger procedures into it. And when we do the procedures, post the bigger cases first. Hernia, then fibroadenoma, then a sebaceous cyst. Because the hernia patient may require more of a post-operative time to recover. So when we do the patient first, he will get more post-operative time to recover and can be discharged on the same day itself. So that is regarding scheduling. Now the surgery part, the patient gets admitted for routine preoperative checks on the morning, and the day case surgery is done on that day itself. So here there is role for anesthesia and surgery. So what is the role of anesthetist? Anesthesia, paracetamol and a non-steroid anti-inflammatory drug can be given. Then peroperatively, total intravenous anesthesia with propofol or a short-acting opioids are preferred. But if we are giving short-acting opioids, post-operatively there is a chance for nausea and vomiting. So the anesthesia should be wary of that complication. And the dosage should be optimal. In day case surgery, the patient has to wake up early and go home. We should not knock out the patient with a high amount of anesthesia. So the anesthesia should be like the plain takeoff when the patient comes into anesthesia, and by the surgery ends, the patient should return back to consciousness. So the optimal dosage of anesthesia is given, just adequate for analgesia for the surgery should be given. So that is regarding the anesthesia part. Now coming to the surgeon's part. So during the surgery a long-acting local anesthesia like bupivacaine should be given so that there will be adequate post-operative analgesia. Then good hemostasis. The field should be like this and it should not be full of blood. Good hemostasis and reduced blood loss will help in less stress reaction and help in early recovery. When we give traction, there should be just adequate amount of traction or lesser traction. We should not give too much traction to the tissue. And finally, minimal access techniques are preferred in case of day case surgery. Now regarding the discharge, post-operative instructions and information. Generally we should use a post-operatively, there will be problem of post-operative nausea vomiting if there is opioids are used. This simple post-operative nausea and vomiting can prevent the patient from getting discharged. So how will we manage a post-operative nausea vomiting in the post-operative period? So first step is to give intravenous fluid and hydrate the patient and give an intravenous antiemetic. Next step is to review after 1 hour, and if still there is a problem, give another antiemetic of a different type like an ondansetron or a dexamethasone, and then if the patient is hydrated and it is reassured, then the patient can be discharged home. So efficient protocolized management of postoperative nausea vomiting is required for the successful discharge in day case surgery. Now another problem is hemorrhage. Generally reactionary hemorrhage happens within 4 to 6 hours. That may be due to technical problem like slippage of sutures. Secondary hemorrhage happens after 24 hours. Generally it is due to infection. So especially there should be a high index of suspicion in case of cavitary surgeries like thorax or abdomen. So the patient should be adequately informed regarding the signs and symptoms, of bleeding, and to immediately report to the hospital or contact with the nurse in charge. So that is regarding hemorrhage. Now coming to the discharge checklist. Always we have a checklist in case of a day case surgery before discharge. We can see that it is a long checklist. We see the vital stable and finally to the post-op phone call required. All this we check in the checklist. So the first part will be make sure that everything is okay for now. There is minimum pain, minimum bleeding, minimum nausea and vomiting. Then next is what to do at home. Ask the patient to take bed rest or take adequate analgesia. Don't move your leg, don't move your head like that. We give advice regarding the verbal post-operative instructions. And finally, what should we do if there is a problem? The contact nurse's number and the information leaflets and how to come to the hospital. All this should be explained to the patient if there is any before discharge. So this is the checklist. We can make our own checklist, but this is the standard checklist by British Association of Day Surgery. So that is regarding the discharge criteria. And the follow-up will be by, once the patient goes home, a nurse in charge will follow up the patient by telephone follow-up. So that is regarding the day surgery. Now these were all elective day surgery pathways. Now we can do day surgery in case of emergency cases also. How? Suppose it is an abscess, a leg abscess. The patient comes to the casualty, we do an incision and drainage. Patient comes to the day surgery facility, we do an incision and drainage and we send the patient then itself. Discharge on that day itself. Now another one is a perianal abscess. Suppose a patient comes like this. We ask the patient to go, we do all the investigations and send the patient home and tell the patient to come next day morning. On the next day morning, we do an incision and drainage and send the patient discharge on that day itself. So this is in case when there is more of an anesthesia is required, when an anesthetist is required, this pathway is generally used. Now next one is a superficial neck injury. Like these patients cannot be admitted without making sure the patient has no problem. So give an emergency admission. Then there will be a delay in investigations. Do the operation that day itself and make sure, and on the same day the patient can be discharged. So this is another pathway of another emergency day surgery pathway. So these are the different emergency day surgery pathways. Now what are the advantages and disadvantages of day surgery? Advantages of day surgery is there is a high amount of economic advantage. The patient does not have to stay for 1 week and all that, 1 week or so. The patient can be discharged within 1 day. So the patient will be in the hospital for just 1 day. So that much decrease in hospital bill will be happening. Next advantage is the time. The patient does not have to stay in the hospital for a long time. So the time is also an advantage. The disadvantages is if we are not planning the proper vehicle for the particular case, then there can be a risk. If we put an elephant procedure into a small day surgery pathway, then there can be a risk. So we have to always be wary of it. Now, day surgery is a fast-paced surgery. Everything has to be done in just like that. It has to be on very correct, in a military precision it has to be done. So teaching may take a hit in case of a day case surgery. Now, in brief, what all we have discussed in day case surgery? We have to make sure that the procedure is suitable for day case surgery. We should not make elephant procedures travel in the bike. Regarding the preoperative assessment, we have discussed about the medical, surgical and social criteria for preoperative assessment of the patient, our selection criteria. Once the patient is fit for surgery, we can schedule the case. We should not mix apple and oranges. We have to make sure that the larger cases come first. And during the routine preoperative and preoperative checks should be done by the anesthetist. And the surgeon should do a minimal access procedures are more preferred. And day case surgery should be less than 2 hours. And we have to discharge the patient on that day itself. We have to make sure the management of post-operative nausea vomiting is pitch perfect, and we have to finally there should be a telephone follow-up. So that is regarding the day case surgery. So let us transport the correct surgeries in the correct vehicles, and we should not take risks. Make sure that we make the patient travel in the correct surgical vehicle, and in surgeries where there is no adequate vehicle, we have to plan and make a vehicle of day surgery of our own. So that is regarding day case surgery. Thank you, my dear friends.